When everyone at the table tried to question your worth, your person's voice cut through the noise like thunder, protecting your name as if it were sacred. The moment they defended you, something shifted. You weren't just loved, you were claimed in front of the world. You watched them speak for you, and for the first time, you realized what loyalty feels like when it's pure and unshaken. They didn't just defend you, they dismantled every silent judgment that tried to bruise your soul. You could feel the fire in their tone, the kind that only burns for someone their heart refuses to lose. It wasn't about winning an argument. It was about showing everyone that your heart was safe in their hands. In that crowded room, filled with whispers and smirks, their voice became your shield, calm, certain, and unbreakable. The way they looked at you after defending you said it all. You'll never fight alone while I'm here. That night, you didn't need flowers or promises. Their courage was love's loudest confession. Their words didn't just silence the room, they healed the part of you that thought you were unworthy of protection. You felt your chest tighten as they spoke, not from fear, but from realizing that someone finally chose you openly. Love isn't just kisses and messages. It's standing up for someone when the world tests your devotion. The world saw an argument. You saw proof that your soul had found its defender. When they spoke your name with that steady voice, even the walls seemed to respect the love between you. They could have stayed quiet, but they didn't, because silence never protects what the heart truly values. That dinner became a battlefield, and without hesitation, they became your warrior. Every word they said for you was a vow, not whispered in private, but declared before everyone. You didn't realize how deeply they loved you until they risked being misunderstood just to keep your name clean. The table fell silent, but your heart was louder than ever, proud, grateful, and trembling. That night wasn't about family or food. It was about love, proving itself in its rawest form. Their defense wasn't rehearsed. It was instinct, the kind that comes from deep emotional truth. You saw their eyes flash with anger when someone crossed a line, and you knew you were no longer alone in this world. It was a rare moment when love spoke louder than fear, louder than family pressure, louder than shame. You realize then, not everyone will understand your connection, but your person doesn't need them to. They didn't raise their voice for drama. They raised it because your peace meant everything. That dinner table became a stage, and love delivered its most powerful performance without a script. As everyone looked at them in disbelief, you saw something sacred, their heart choosing you over approval. The way they said, "Don't talk about them like that," echoed in your soul long after dinner ended. That was the moment you saw what loyalty looks like when it's tested in public. You'll never forget how they looked straight into your eyes after defending you, proud, protective, unshaken. That single act made you fall in love all over again, not with their beauty, but with their bravery. They didn't care who disagreed. They cared that you didn't feel alone in a room full of judgment. In that instant, you knew you were loved by someone who would fight the world if it ever turned against you. Their words were sharp, but their eyes were gentle, the perfect balance of love and war. That night showed you that real love doesn't hide when things get uncomfortable. It stands taller. You felt your eyes sting, not because of their anger, but because someone finally saw your worth clearly. When they stood up for you, it wasn't just defense. It was devotion in its purest, most fearless form. Love defended you that night, and the universe witnessed it in silence. You realized then, love isn't tested in private, it's revealed in moments like that. They didn't need to explain your value to anyone, but they did because they couldn't stand seeing you disrespected. It wasn't about proving something, it was about protecting the energy they cherish most. You. That dinner table became a mirror reflecting how deep your bond truly runs. The world saw tension. You saw proof that your love is unshakable under pressure. When they defended you, you felt both exposed and deeply safe, a strange kind of divine balance. You knew from that night on, no matter how loud the world gets, their heart would always be your quiet armor. Their protection didn't make you weak. It reminded you that love is strongest when it stands together. That moment replayed in your mind for days, every word they said echoing like a promise of forever. It wasn't just about you. It was about respect, loyalty, and love that refuses to bow. You could see the storm in their eyes, calm to everyone else, but raging inside for your honor. They didn't hesitate. The moment someone spoke against you, love itself stood up, wearing their voice. It was like the universe whispered through them, "No one touches what I have blessed them with." You didn't need them to explain your worth. Their defense screamed it louder than any words could. Every time they defended you, you fell for them again, not for their gentleness, but for their fire. They weren't just protecting you, they were protecting the peace they found in you. You never expected them to go that far, but they did, because love doesn't measure limits when it's real. The family dinner turned into a battlefield, and love won every round. You could feel your soul exhale. Finally, someone stood up for you, not out of pity, but out of pride. Their voice carried something divine, the energy of a soul who refuses to let lies touch what's sacred. They look straight into your eyes after defending you, as if asking, "Are you okay?" without words. That small glance told you you were safe, seen, and fiercely loved. They didn't care how uncomfortable it made others. Their only focus was protecting your heart's peace. It was in that moment you realized love isn't just romantic, it's wildly protective. The table might forget what was said, but your heart will never forget how it felt to be defended. You didn't speak much after that. You didn't need to. Their actions spoke everything you ever wanted to hear. When they said, "That's enough," it wasn't just a boundary, it was a declaration that you mattered. Even the air around you shifted, like the universe paused to honor their courage. It wasn't about pride, it was about love showing its teeth when you were too tired to speak. For the first time, you didn't feel small in that room. You felt chosen, loudly and unapologetically. Every word they said for you was soaked in sincerity, dripping with emotion only real love carries. You saw how their hands trembled after defending you, proof that love can be both soft and fierce. That night, they didn't protect your reputation, they protected your soul. The silence that followed their words wasn't awkward, it was sacred. In that moment, you saw your future in their strength. Someone who'd never let you face cruelty alone. You thought they'd let the comments slide, but instead, they silenced every tongue that dared to wound you. It was no longer just dinner. It was a sacred stand for love's honor. That single act showed you what forever truly feels like. Loud, loyal, and unapologetically yours. They became your peace and your protector, all in one breath. Their defense felt like a vow no ceremony could ever capture. The way they spoke your name that night, steady, proud, protective, made your heart tremble. That's when you realized love doesn't always whisper sweet words. Sometimes it roars in defense. You didn't need to thank them. Your eyes met theirs, and gratitude lived in that silence. When they stood up for you, it wasn't drama. It was destiny reminding everyone where your souls belong. They didn't just shield you from judgment. They reminded you how deeply you're cherished. Their protection wasn't out of obligation. It was instinct, the kind born from genuine love. That night, you didn't see them as your partner. You saw them as your home. It was more than just words. It was energy, fierce, protective, ancient, like something divine moving through them. You realized they weren't fighting others. They were fighting for the peace you've built together. That dinner might have ended, but the way they defended you replayed in your heart all night. Even when the family disagreed, their loyalty never wavered. That's how you know it's real. You didn't need validation anymore. Their defense was proof that you're valued beyond opinion. That moment rewired something inside you. It taught you what true partnership feels like. They didn't raise their voice for attention. They did it to silence every false narrative about you. In that one moment, they became your loudest prayer answered. You watched them stand taller, not for pride, but for protection, love in its most primal form. When they said, "Don't speak about them like that," you knew your name was safe in their mouth. You saw love transform from emotion to action, fierce, raw, unfiltered. You didn't realize you'd found a protector until that moment they refused to let anyone disrespect you. Their defense wasn't rehearsed. It was the natural rhythm of a heart that beats for yours. Even after dinner, they held your hand under the bubble, a silent promise that you'll never face judgment alone. That night, you felt something divine flow through their courage, love turning into armor. They didn't just silence the words, they erased the wounds those words could have left.